Okay, so the easiest way to work with these is if you do have LightBurn. If you work in another program, it is possible to manipulate them, but it's much easier to do in LightBurn. So I'm just going to show you really quick. We'll just start with the circle. And then what we can do is ungroup this, delete out this outside line, and then this all remains grouped together, which is what we want. Say you want to make a small ornament that is, I don't know, maybe 3 by 2.5 inches, and you want this pattern to fill the ornament. You can pick whichever part of the pattern that you like. If you just want it to be snow, you could do just that section. We're going to go with these two little bears. Okay, so then we click on our pattern and our shape, and we go to tools, tools, cut shapes, and then we can press delete, and you'll see that it has now deleted just the part of our pattern that we want remains. However, it got rid of our line. So what we want to do to make sure that this cut line stays in place is to copy it and paste in place, so it's pasted right on top of our other version, and then we'll select the pattern first and then our cut line and then cut shapes. And then you'll see that it automatically breaks apart the part we want to keep, and we can delete out that outer edge. And because we duplicated this, now we just have one cut line that remained. The other was removed during that process. So then from here, you can just group together what you need and work on the rest of your design. And it's nice, it's flush to the edges, it's cropped perfectly. You don't have to worry about ungrouping or moving anything around. If you are working on it in Illustrator, it's a little bit harder just in terms of having more steps, but it is possible. So the first way you could do it is to ungroup everything and then manually move your elements around. That takes time, and it's not always everyone's favorite method. So we can create a shape like we did in LightBurn, the same way we did before, and we're just going to line it up over top of, again, those two bears. And then what we can do is copy and paste in front, select everything, deselect one of your cut lines, and come over to outline. You'll notice that your stroke has been removed, so you'll want to apply a stroke to your image, and then you can right-click ungroup. Then you can delete out anything outside of that, but you'll notice it doesn't automatically do it for you. You can zoom in and it'll make it a little bit easier. But you'll notice that right when you get to the edge of the shape, that's when it starts getting a little trickier. What I'm going to do is move this to the back and then just go around and delete out anything either on that line or over it. And this step it's obviously a little bit more tedious than working in LightBurn, but not everyone has access to LightBurn. So I did want to show that there is a way to do it. It's just not as geared towards lasers as LightBurn, because LightBurn is a specific laser program. It would be awesome if Illustrator added that, but as of right now, I don't think they have anything that works quite as efficiently for this process. The reason that you don't want to use the Boolean tools is it is not going to have the same effect as it would with your closed shapes. Your closed shapes are already filled in, and when you use those cropping tools, it automatically closes the shape as it performs that function. So when you're working with these scoring patterns, they have open paths because we're just working with line segments. So it's going to try and close your shape, and it's going to end up with some really strange looking features of your design. So let me just finish this, and then I'll give you an example. Okay, so this is our pattern. Everything is cropped. What we're going to do is turn our blue elements, so select everything, then hold shift and deselect the red, and make a compound path, and then group those two items. If you were to try and do this with your Boolean path tools, this is what would happen. So let's take our outer edge, make it smaller because we're going to crop it, highlight both, and do subtract. Do you see where it tries to close the edges? It's not going to be pretty because it wants our paths to be able to be filled. And no matter which option we choose, it's not going to perform the function that we want. So that's why I don't recommend using the Pathfinder tools outside of the outline function when you're working with these. But hopefully that is sufficient to help you with whatever shapes you might need. If you have LightBurn, it makes it a breeze, and you can use the square ones, and it makes it super easy to cut your pattern to a different shape. And then the outline function or manually moving them in Illustrator is another option.